Good morning, students. This is Asha Singh, your social science teacher. I welcome you to third lecture on Chapter 1 History, Tracing the Changes Through Past. So, in previous two lectures, we studied about basically how history is classified into past and post history. Then we studied how medieval period is further classified into early and later medieval period. In grade 7 we'll be studying about medieval period, ancient and modern period. Ancient, which you have studied in grade 7, grade 6, and modern in 8th. Then we started tracing the changes which took place in medieval period. First change which we studied were changes in maps of Al-Adrasi and map of French cartographer. Then we studied about the changes in new and old terminologies, like the term Hindustan in terms of Minaj Siraj and Babur. And then we studied the different meaning of word foreigner then and now. Then we studied about historians and their sources. The sources were mainly archaeological sources and literary sources, and letters, teaching, manuscripts, coin, architecture, all these things were there. But in detail, we studied manuscripts. What are manuscripts, how they were preserved, and what all were the difficulties in preserving these manuscripts. And we studied some interesting facts about Ziauddin Barani manuscripts. And the last topic which we were discussing was technological changes which took place in that period. So the technological changes include spinning wheel, Persian wheel, firearm combat, and food. So spinning wheel was invented in medieval period. Persian wheel, which helped in irrigation, was also invented in medieval period. Spinning wheel was used in textile industry. Firearm, which started used in medieval period, and new crops like potato, corn, all came in India during this time frame. So these were the few technological changes which took place in this time frame. Now let's study about new groups. So generally in olden ancient period, you must have studied about four varnas like Kshatriya, Brahman, Vaishya, Shudra. But in the medieval period, we see a lot of new groups come into existence. They were Rajput, Sikh, Kayas, Jat, Maratha. All these were the new group of people which came into existence. And Rajputs were, as the name suggests, it's Rajputra, son of a king or a son of a ruler. They were famous for their bravery, valor, and respect for women. So in medieval period, or in this chapter, we'll be studying about Sikhs, Ahom. Sikh became very popular in 15th and 16th century. Ahom were the tribals which developed a very big kingdom in the same way Gonds and Maratha. By the end of 17th century, they were really very powerful. So we'll be studying about them, all of these groups in grade 7. That's your medieval history. Then we do see a lot of changes happening in the field of agriculture as well. So as the chapter name suggests, tracing the changes through the past, we are tracing all the changes which took place in medieval period. Be it map, be it terminology, be it technology, be it agriculture. So in agriculture also we see a lot of changes. The agricultural area was extended to a larger area. Forests were clear, so they cleared forests to use that area for agriculture. The forest dwellers and tribal people were forced to migrate. Now forest was clear. Tribal who lived in forest, they have to leave forest, and these forest dwellers became peasant. They started working as a laborer under big farmers. And in this medieval period, we see a lot of movement of people from village to cities. There were new town built like temple town, trade towns, and pilgrimage town. Madurai and other places were temple town as well as trade. And when we talk about trade, we see Surat, Hampi, Masolipatnam. These all were very big trade towns. So they developed, many people started moving to these places. So in medieval period, we see a lot of movement of people as well, right? Now let's move on to the next topic, which is jati. So jati is something which new came in medieval period. Um, Jatis or subcaste refer to grouping or ranking of people on the basis of their background. On the basis of the background of people, jatis were made. The rank or status of these jatis keep changing from different area and different period of time. Different period people have different jatis coming into power. Like in ancient period we see only kshatriyas becoming the ruler. But in medieval period we see vaishyas, brahmins, they come into power. So in particular area, particular caste or jati was in power, and their status kept changing depending upon the area and the power they hold it. Jatis form their own rules and regulation to manage their conduct of their member. So jatis also form their own rules and regulation, and these regulations were enforced by assembly of elder known as jati panchayat. So there were jati panchayat. We forced them to follow these rules and regulation, right? Jatis were also required um, to follow their rules of village, because these jatis were part of village. So if they have any rule or from panchayat, they have to follow that as well. Now the next topic, we see changes in region and empire. So in medieval period we see many pan-regional empires. Pan-regional means an empire spanning over a larger area, larger regions. An empire spanning diverse regions is known as pan-regional empire. So here we do see there were some dynasties which were able to build big and large empires like Cholas, Mughals, Tughlaqs, Khaljis. They were the one who made big empires. Cholas had their empire in whole of South India, and that particular group was called Chola Mandala. In the same way, Mughals, Tughlaqs, Khaljis, they ruled whole of India. Khaljis, in fact, were the first person, Alauddin Khilji, who raided south of India. So their region was very vast. So it was called pan-regional. So we do see lot of big empires as well. One more big change we see in religion. So main famous religion which you studied in grade 6 was Hinduism or Jain or Buddhism. But in this medieval period we see Hinduism, changes coming in Hinduism as well. Many changes came in Hinduism. People started to worship new gods, kings, new temples came into existence. All these things happened in Hinduism. Plus, idea of bhakti came into India, and Islam. Islam was a new religion which we see coming to India in medieval period through Arab and other countries. The idea of bhakti emerged in this age, which emphasized on the fact that the devotee can reach their deity without the help of any priest or ritual. Without doing any ritual or help of any priest, any person can reach to God. And one more thing which we see is Zoroastrianism. This was a new religion which came into India in medieval period. And Islam, as I told you earlier, it was a new religion which came to India. Merchants and migrants spread the teachings of Quran, and then later on various Muslim rulers propagated the Islamic ideology. Many rulers patronized later Islam and ulemas as well. So, let a brief discussion about what exactly Islam was. Islam was started by Prophet Muhammad, and they have a holy book called Quran. After the death of Prophet Muhammad, Islam was further divided into two sects. and that was Shia and Sunni. So Shia were the people who believed Muhammad, Prophet Muhammad's son-in-law, was the legitimate leader of Muslim community. So Prophet Muhammad's son-in-law name was Ali. They accepted him as their leader of Muslim community, and those who accepted Ali as a leader of Muslim community were called Shia. On the other hand, there were a group of people, Sunni, who believed the authority of early leaders. Those early leaders were called Khalifa. Who accepted the authority of Khalifa were called Sunni. So in this way, Islam was divided into two sects, Shia and Sunni. Clear, children? Let's recap what we studied today. We studied changes in religion, idea of bhakti, Islam. Then we studied about new empires, the pan-regional empires. We studied about Jockeys today. We studied changes in agriculture. We studied emergence of new groups, and we studied about the technological changes. All these changes we studied which happened in medieval period. So that's by this we come to an end of this chapter. This chapter is completed, and tomorrow's lecture will do the book exercises and question answers, right? Okay, that's all for today. Thank you.